So I made a video a couple weeks ago explaining that I was disappointed that we knew basically everything about this keynote that we've been waiting for a while. We knew about the iPhone SE, we knew about this new iPad Pro. It was not called the Air 3, and I was mad about that. Now it's just the size of an iPad Air, but it's an iPad Pro, and SE also doesn't make sense. I don't like the naming here. That was bad, and I haven't been this disappointed from a keynote in a while. Usually there's some kind of new hardware, new software that we can all get really excited about, and there wasn't really any meat to this show. I think the new iPad Pro that's smaller had some of the coolest features, like a 4K video in an iPad, which I'm like, I'm not mad. You shouldn't be recording video with an iPad, but hey, if you are, why not go 4K? But I think the SE is what people are most excited for. I don't like that name, SE. It sounds like I'm saying Essie, like Nessie. For those of you with slow attention spans, I'll tell you everything you need to know, and then you can leave this video and dislike because short attention span, and you don't like humor or whatever, attempting humor. Okay, Apple Watch is $50 cheaper. iPhone SE exists. It's got the exact same specifications as the 6S, except it's the size of a 5S and it looks just like a 5S. It comes in rose gold. It does 4K video and everything the 6S does. And then there's a new iPad Pro that is the size of an iPad Air. It's got 4 speakers just like the Pro. It supports the Apple Pencil. It has a smart connector with the smart connector keyboard. It does 4K video recording. They added the flash, which they've never had on an iPad. I don't know why, but they decided to add it. And there's now a rose gold option there. Oh, and the best thing, it has a 256 gigabyte option, which is great. And they added that to the 12.9-inch iPad Pro as well, which makes me upset because I'm used to having the best storage configuration model, and now I have the mid-range one. But you know, life moves on. They talked a lot about the environment and health in the beginning, which we're all kind of like, yeah, okay, where's the iPhone? It's great. You know, they talked about encryption and all that because there's a big debate about that happening tomorrow. But yeah, this keynote was short. Most of these things go for an hour and a half or maybe even 2 hours when you're pushing it. This thing was done in a flat 1 hour. It's like, guys, we could have done all this in an email or just like a new website homepage thing. It's like, yeah, we updated the 5S, now it's the 5SE. It's got the specs of the 6S. That's about it. And the Apple Watch now starts at $300 instead of $350, which is hopefully hinting at the eventual release of the Apple Watch 2, which I predicted would be announced at this thing, but no, they didn't. The good news is that my current Apple Watch stays to be the most current model for now, so it doesn't feel like crap, unlike my iPad Pro, which since it has 128 gigs is now crap. They also added this thing to the iPad Pro. I keep wanting to say Air 3, but the smaller iPad Pro, I hate that name, is a tonal display which adjusts its screen lighting, kind of like Night Shift, except it analyzes wherever you are, so it's not just at night, to relax on the eyes, more like a real piece of paper would, which I think was really hard to advertise. They showed it in a video and you had to be looking at it really closely to be able to tell, oh yeah, it matches the lighting better. Was that a complaint people had a lot of the time? I don't think so. I think they really should have kept that stupid bulge that's coming out of it for the camera. You know the most annoying thing we all hate about this iPhone 6? That thing sticking out? They added that to the smaller version of the iPad Pro, which is a stupid name. They should have called it the Air 3, come on. Because, you know, when you're using an Apple Pencil on that thing, it's gonna be rocking now. Also, I thought the whole point of the Apple Pencil when I did my review of it is that when you're working with a display that size, as big as 12.9 inches, you need something to be specific with. So now that you're being really specific with a screen that's already kind of small, now the Apple Pencil seems a little redundant to me. I guess artists like it. I guess they like drawing with it. My other complaint is that the iPhone SE, can I be in charge of naming the next stuff, guys? Because this isn't working. Only has a 16 and 64 gigabyte storage option. There's no 128, and there should be because it has a 4K camera. Giving someone a 4K camera, but only 64 gigs of maximum storage, you got to consider all the other apps and games they want to have on there, plus the OS, because iOS lies to us about storage. So 64 is really more like 58, 59 gigs. So when you don't give them all that extra storage for 4K video, you know, you definitely shouldn't record in 4K when you have 16 gigs. That's nothing. And you have 64, you're going to fill it up really quickly. It's like giving someone a dog, but the dog doesn't have a head. So it's like, okay, great, I have a dog, but there's no head. I can't do much with it because it's not going to do anything. There's no head. I'm sure there's a better analogy I could have used, but that one sounded funnier, so I'm gonna stick with it. But I was amazed by the price point. With a 2-year contract, the SE is free. Wow, I thought it was gonna be like 100 something. You're getting something that is smaller than the 6S, sure, but it's got the specs of it. It's got the GPU, the CPU, the camera, it's got Apple Pay, no Force Touch, but that's about it, and a lot of people don't know about Force Touch even though they have the 6S. So yeah, that's a pretty dang good deal. I'd recommend buying that if you're in the budget area. Unlocked, it's only $400, and if you want to do that monthly thing, that's only $17 a month for a very high-end iPhone. This is not a cheapo iPhone. I think they should have gone with the design of the 6s so that they all matched up, but instead they went with a 3-year-old design. It looks like the original iPhone 5, which was my first iPhone. And it's like, well, yeah, okay. So that's the SE. It's great for budget people, but this keynote was definitely not for pro users like me who like things to be high-end, big, and expensive. In terms of the Apple Watch, we didn't get any kind of different hardware or software, just new watch bands made of nylon that start at $50, which if you're doing Apple accessories exclusive, that's pretty good. So I may or may not go deeply into those other products, the iPhone SE and the new iPad Pro, the small one. If there's enough content, I'll go into it. If not, here it is. Like this video if you think Apple should have wowed us with something else. What if that super thin MacBook got a specs upgrade so now it can actually edit something? What if the MacBook Pros got that new butterfly keyboard effect? What if the MacBook Air had a Retina display? Come on, it's time. Ugh, that was a lot of waiting for quite a big letdown. Usually I'm pretty excited after something like this, but you know, there's no meat. There's no meat in the keynote. So now I gotta wait till WWDC 16. That I look forward to. It's all about waiting. This is your Apple Sheep here, and I will see you in the next one.